Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Scrollberg and today we are going to be talking about item power in Albion Online, every single detail about this stat and how you can make your character more powerful with less silver involved. So yeah, which pieces of gear you can definitely cut some expenses and which pieces of gear are essential for you to have as high tier as possible. Basically, generally, if you don't know the thing at all, item power here, or here it is average item power for your your character. It is like a rough measurement of the power of your equipment. So this number can give you a rough estimate about how powerful someone is, but more on that a little bit later. So just in general, this stat is here, and the average one takes all your parts of equipment, which are your armor, your helmet, shoes, your cape, and your weapon. So bag, your mount, food, and all that stuff does not count there. And the essential part here is that it takes average of all of them. So if your cape is way lower in terms of item power than your for example armor, it will show that you have way less item power, even though you as a character will not be as less powerful, because your cape doesn't give you as much stats in, like, even at the slightest in comparison to your armor or to your weapon, for example. And this is the main primary topic that I wanted to cover here. So you need to be very picky about your weapon and your main chest piece, so main chest armor. These two slots are the main stats that you're gonna get for your character's performance in general. So if you see here on this Blood Moon stuff, I do have like 106 masteries on them, so tier 5 is going to be higher with additional mastery modifier as tier 4, for example. So you can see here it's 1462, here is 1368, even though this one is a bit more has better quality. But just in general, you can see here that that 5-3 staff deals like 421 magical damage with its Q, and 4.31 deals 387 magical damage. And every single skill that has any numerical values will be stronger the higher tier of your item is. This is the case with all items, or at least most of them that have any skills that deal some damage, give you some shield, restore some health. They will change from some item level to from some item power to other. Here, for example, mercenary jacket, you have the passive, it restores 118 health, and then on lower tier it is 109 health with each single tick. So basically you get the point. Now, when it comes to your weapon, of course, you do have your auto attack damage as well, which is going to be changed depending on the tier. And with your armor, what is very essential, your actual numbers of armor and magical resistance are going to be changed quite heavily whenever you're changing your chest piece. This goes to whenever you're changing leather armor to cloth armor or to plate armor. These values are going to be changed only on your chest piece. So basically, if you have a leather helmet or do you have plate helmet, your armor and magical resistance of your character, they do not change if you change your headpiece or your shoes from different types of gear types. And this is why your armor and your weapon are two main slots for you to basically just in general waste all your money on, and they're not gonna be wasted. I just mean this as an expense, because when it comes to your weapon, you're gonna have very big increases to your damage that you deal. You're still gonna receive additional health, even though it's like, yeah, it's with with the type of staffs that you have different forms in. This is a little bit, this goes a little bit different, but just in general, your weapon will give you a lot of different stats, and you want to prioritize it as high as possible. Your chest piece is going to give you a lot of different stats as well. It will give you passive bonuses depending on the type of armor that you wear. It will give you either way more damage or some additional defenses and additional crowd control duration on enemies, and that's it. When it comes to your helmet and when it comes to your shoes, these just give you some additional health, some additional energy and health regen, and that's it. After that, you don't really have any other passive stats on them. There are bonuses in this like passive type of skill that you take, and these are gonna be changed slightly. So if you see here, it is 2.564%. Oh yeah, that was shoes. So here it is 2.564, and here it is 2.564. So these don't really change whenever you change tiers. So they will be exactly the same. When you go to your active ability on the helmet, for example, it is 104 resistances, 1359 seconds cooldown. Here it is 100 resistances, 1359 seconds. So cooldown stays the same, but the value of your active skill goes a little bit higher. There are some types of items that deal damage that are like, they are essential for you to have higher tier. Even if it's if it can be your helmet, if that's some type of exact helmet that you can get. But just in general, what I would advise you, especially if you are not familiar with things like this in Albion, just don't use a lot of silver on your helmet and your shoes, especially not if you don't have enough silver to spare. So use maybe like 90% of the value that you can use on your set. Just 90% of it should go into weapon and chest piece combined. Then all the other parts to your helmet, to your boots, and to your cape. Now let's talk about capes for a little bit. Capes are a bit different in this at this point, because mainly capes have their cooldown reduced with higher tiers, which makes makes a bit more worthwhile for you to spend a little bit more on capes, but the scales of capes are not as powerful. They are powerful, and whenever you're choosing the type of cape that you want to use, for example, you want a Loomhurst chest or Fort Sterling chest or Demon cape, or I mean capes, or Demon cape, and depending on the type of cape that you will take, it will have different results. And there are some capes, for example, Thetford cape, that deals damage whenever you auto attack, or whenever you just hit something, it will deal some additional damage in AoE. That one is specifically more potent whenever you have it on higher item power, because yet again it is like just an additional skill on your weapon. It will give you pretty substantial boost to damage, but in terms of the amounts that it costs to have capes of higher tier, it is almost never really worth it. If you are on a budget setup specifically, for you to invest in your capes as well, even though you have like higher returns on your investments in terms of capes rather than helmets or boots, because in helmets and boots, let's see it on the example. So we do have stalker shoes here, tier 4.2 and tier 5.2. I do have the same mastery in them, which is obvious, and yeah, so it is 1363 and 1249, because tier 5 have this 5% mastery bonus with mastery 106. It is going to increase the item level even a little bit higher. Here you can see it, plus 14 mastery modifier. bonus. But just what do we get in terms of the changes in stats? 364 HP against 321 HP. And what is the price for you to get those 40 health? It is 60,000. But you can look at it from different perspectives. It is 60,000, or like, yeah, it is 60,000, but it is 4x multiplier. Basically, you can go with this 20,000 and you can afford 4 Stalker shoes, or just go for this one and you will have 1 attempt with it. Whenever you're going with like you're creating this setup for yourself, that you have a loadout and you're gonna use like 10, you spend some silver in order for you to buy like 10 sets of some gear that you want to use, and you're gonna go and farm in the open world where you can lose it all, and you're like, yeah, these 10 sets for like today or for 2-3 days, it doesn't really matter. You can buy 4 of the sets with these shoes, and you can only afford 1 with this one. Basically, it is in terms of multipliers of cost, and what you will get from it, 40 additional health. In terms of energy, it's going to be 6 additional energy. Some additional energy regeneration, like 0.07 per second. The cooldown rate is from the talent here, so yeah, you can see it being present in both of them. And then with your active ability, it is going to be, so here it is the same values: 33% cooldown recovery, 80% movement speed, 2944, and here it is 2944. So basically the same thing with the active, the same thing with passive bonus that you're taking. Yeah, the max load courier buff is going to be a bit better in terms of like, yeah, 20 additional kilograms. But that is really not that essential. What is essential here is that your cape, and the cape itself, has just these stats like plus 18 energy and 0.23 energy regeneration, and whenever you go higher on a tier, so a lower tier is 0.15, so it is 0.07 energy regeneration per second, and it is 6 maximum energy, and this one is a tier 7 equivalent, and this is tier 5. So this is in 2 tiers. Basically, base stats on the capes are literally trash. And when it comes to the active, let's look at here. Demon Cape is the cape that will benefit way more in terms of higher tier, because it deals damage. You're like, you can see here that it has the same cooldown but way higher damage. So here it is 100 magical damage versus players, and here it is 140 magical damage versus players, which can be pretty powerful. And this is for each tick, which means that, yeah, it is like plus 200, 300 damage, something like that in 2 tiers. But the difference in costs for these capes as well, especially whenever you're going higher than tier 7 equivalent, it is very big, but you will not get as much out of it. So just focus on your weapon and focus on your chest piece. Now, when it comes to the item power itself as a stat, which I probably should have talked about earlier in the video, but just in general, let's go through it in here. The stat itself does not give you anything, which means that if you have character that is that has like average IP 1300, and the other character that has average IP 1500, and the only difference between them are, for example, boots and cape, and not weapons. So weapons and chest pieces are completely the same between those 2 characters. What you will have is one character that will have 120 additional health, and a bit better effect on its cape, and that's it. no additional damage boosts, no additional, like, there is no hidden modifiers that item power, especially like average item power, gives. It is all that you can see on your items. It is all that you can see on your skills. So because Albion has all these like different hidden mechanics, like AoE escalation, like all the damage protections when you are solo against multiple other people who attack you, there are quite often a lot of confusion or just plain misunderstanding from player base how some things work, the way they work, but not with item power. Item power is as straight as it is. It is more like a graphical display of rough estimate of your character power rather than the concrete value that is multiplying all your damage or all your defenses at some particular number. So yeah, this is when it comes to item power. I hope that it was quite a useful video. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good time. Bye.